Exalizer has been retired. Cascade intensified. Struggle has its benefits. Exalizer has been retired. Contamination spreading. Exalizer spent. Contamination spreading. Down an Exalizer, working on backups. Exalizer spent. Cascade intensifying. This discovery might interest you. Exilizer has been retired. Contamination levels going in the wrong direction. Down an Exilizer, working on backups. This Cascade is growing out of control. Exilizer spent. Exilizer has been retired. Contamination spreading. See what you make of this. Down an Exilizer, working on backups. Good work. You did all you could out there.
As you conquer the foe, so you conquer yourself.
So an important thing I learned is that even though Saryn is vulnerable to damage while you're in Operator, if Toxic Lash is active, or Roar is active, or the speed buff from Molt is active, if she dies while you're in Operator and you get sucked back from your Operator into her, or she takes too much damage and you get sucked back from your Operator into her, if you spam 2, you spam Molt as that happens, you get your shield gate back from Molt while she has 2 health, so you don't actually die. So I use that technique a lot in the clip. So here are the builds I used. 1 Corrosive Shard, 3 Toxin, 1 Casting Speed. And this is an excessive amount of strength. I just like having lots of damage in general, and this is my general use build. So I wanted to see if I could get away with just this amount of shield gating and Arcane Aegis, and it turns out you can, so that's great. But if you want to make it even comfier, because you don't need this much strength, you could go Brief Respite and double shield recharge delay mods, you know. And then you could debatably swap out Aegis for, you know, Augmented or Concentration, depending on whether you want more strength or duration. But this should be enough already. I just like having all the damage, so yeah. Yep. And Sculptor and Nexus solves the energy entirely, so that's cool. Even unmaxed Sculptor. And once again, this is a general use build, so for boss fights where you can't stack galvanized mods, I like having, or Merciless, I like having a source of base damage, but this is not optimal for Cascade, especially for level cap. You could, you know, optimal would probably be, you know, Prime Chilling Grasp for Toxic Lash scaling, and or, you know, Clip Delegation for more single target damage, but yeah, I have enough damage, so that's fine. This Riven, I really like Punch Through on the Sobek, but you don't need it. And if you don't have a Riven, I'd go Fire Rate here, whether it's Magnetic Strafe or Shotgun Barrage. And then I'd outsource the reload speed to Primary Merciless. Now, Galvanized Savvy ignores damage fall-off, which is why I'm running Narrow Barrel for long-distance sniping instead of Galvanized Acceleration for, you know, mitigating damage fall-off. But if you are going Primary Merciless, you have more of a case for Galvanized Acceleration for sure. And yeah. I didn't use this in the run, but I just used it for dodging, but same deal here, that just for content where you can't stack a galvanized mod. That's why I have this here instead of, like, you know, Magnetic Might would be the slot otherwise for more crit damage. And Energizing Shot is just for the tech where if you're running Equilibrium or an Equilibrium Shard, you can res yourself in Bleed Out using this, but you don't use that here because there's no Equilibrium on this build. This is just the default that I have. You could run something like Reflex Draw to make the spread on the Sobek even tighter at long range, but I don't see the need for it, and I actually like just, you know, being able to have the wide spread on the default shot and the closed spread on the zoomed shot on the Sobek. I don't need this extra stuff. This is just for utility with Kareen, pretty much, and movement speed, obviously, because it's Praetos, you know. This is, from what I can tell, just the go-to DPS setup for your Tower on Strike mods. And then this just gives you the most Tower on Strikes in a mission. Like, this gives you your Tower on Strike the fastest. And I like the Tower on Strike. It does good damage and makes you invulnerable during cast, and gives you up to 50% power strength on Madurai. So I just like having that, even though this one's unmaxed, this Arcane, it's still really good. And yeah, I use a 5/4/7. These Operator Arcanes. This is more for like doing your self-resing and stuff, but it also makes it very competent damage in general. And then yeah, this is so you can infinitely spam the alt fire, especially during self-resing, but also works on the main fire too. But you can certainly do Eternal Eradicate, or Onslaught here, whatever your preference is. I know a lot of people like to run Eradicate and Onslaught together, then that's cool too. Virtuous Strike is more damage than Eradicate if it procs, so. Yeah. And the Companion, there's a worm, Elementalist is here because since this guy is applying your magnetic and has an electric mod, you get a lot of damage scaling when he pops a shield, basically. So that's one reason to not run magnetic on your own weapons and outsource them to your pet, if your pet can have a setup like that. And that applies to Overguard as well. And yeah, that's about it.